Hello everyone and welcome to SVNP video call interview with Emperor Spike. For your notice, this call will have 11 questions, so let's get started. So, hello
All right.
Spike, how are you? How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you for having me. The most reputable news source in Vuperia, constantly absolute bangers in that news channel right there, Luca. Very proud of you.
Thank you so much. Alright, let's get started. So, your first question is, what will be your first move in office?
My first move in office is going to be implementing the new constitution. Just because we wrote it on paper doesn't mean that everyone is following what we wrote on the paper. And the most important thing to our government's integrity and our ability to establish our authenticity is to actually follow the changes we put down on that paper. We have the signatures there. The ink hasn't dried yet, but we have to go through each government department, have a constitutional review, and ensure that our constitution is the law of the land.
Nice response. Alright, so for your second question is, compared to the other candidates' policies, what is one of your policies you think are the best out of all of theirs?
So I think the most important policy difference I'm going to have from the other campaign staff is a clear roadmap getting us all the way from the beginning of SV2 development all the way down to Nerdcraft, which I'd like to announce right now is my end goal for my campaign, is getting Nerdcraft back online. And that means everything down that list, the economy, item trading. I have a plan to get all of it implemented as painlessly as possible within enough time that within my term, which I plan to cut short if I finish it early, we will have Nerdcraft back online, our new systems, and one roadmap. No other candidate has one clean and concise way to get from point A to point B. That is my platform right there.
Thank you. Ironically, this next question says, what is your stance on SV2 and what is the feature you would like to see implemented?
So the biggest thing to me is the job system and the trading system, which kind of go hand in hand. The ability for people to create their own platforms, such as Vuperian cards, is already in SpookVooper, but without item trading, it doesn't have the power necessary to make it a feasible way for people to go through with things. You're going to hear me say this term a lot, talent-based economy. We have the talent, we just don't have the way for people to monetize it. The economy will come to life once we get that item trading underway, once we get those job systems underway. And this is going to go into the roleplay section, but I'll wait until you ask that question.
Alright. So your fourth question is, in recent surge of members, how would you take advantage of this and make them more involved in RP?
Okay, so the big thing that I have planned for member activity is a member onboarding system. I want when someone joins SpookVooper, a bot, which will be Voop AI, let's be honest, we'll message them, give them a full dialogue on how to create a character. The character system is going to be completely new to SpookVooper. It's going to keep track of your character's attributes, your history, facts about you. It's going to make roleplay a lot easier. It's going to even have sections where you can go ahead and have it randomly roll you things. Ooh. So like it'll be like, oh, I grew up during the Tsar War. They may not know what that means, but at least it's giving them something to start with. And then they can research that. It's giving them a jumping off point. And I think the character system is important because we can do things such as allowing people to manage multiple characters. If you're someone like Alligate who wants to roleplay multiple characters and not just be Alligate of Lanesia, we're going to have ways for you to do that clearly, properly, separate bank accounts, everything. These are all plans that I've had written down. I think it'll be great for new members. It's going to give them a way to slip into the economy, the government very easily, and especially having like profile pages for SpookVooper people, it's going to allow people to understand who is in what position very quickly.
Thank you. Next question is, what is your policy on economy?
All right, I'm going to bring up the term again, talent-based economy. The big thing to me is making the system so that it doesn't depend on me, it doesn't depend on Honk or Jacob, it doesn't even depend on the website SpookVooper. It's about making an extendable platform that any company can build off of. And we don't just want it to be for the developers. We want to make easy systems that your average Vuperian can set up a store on. We want it to be that if you have an idea, you can get it implemented in less than 10 minutes. That's the thing. Not everyone has hours and hours and hours. Not everyone's job is to work on Spook Whooper. So we need to make it very easy for people, your average person who may be checking their phone occasionally. And this actually goes into another idea we have, but I'll bring that up later because that's big. We have a really big new idea for Spook Whooper, but I'll pull that out at the end.
Oh, okay. So you're just gonna pull out a big surprise at the end. All right, got it.
Yeah. It's my trump card.
All right. So your sixth question is gonna be, what will you do that can bring significant change to Vooperians everywhere?
All right, the big thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to lead the charge for migration onto Valor. It's probably going to be the most significant and important move we make as a community. It's really a make or break situation. I'm working with a lot of people. I have multiple communities interested. When we make the move, it's going to have to be as much of our power and influence as possible is going to have to go onto Valor. And considering that I am leading the Valor development team, I know it, from top to bottom. I understand how the software works, how the platform works, and I'm able to make quick changes if we need anything specific. That is the biggest thing that's going to happen for Vooperians. We're no longer going to depend on Discord, another platform. We won't ever have to worry about something of ours getting deleted again. We won't have to worry about losing our history, our admins. Everything will be on the table for us, and we'll be able to add our own features as we need to grow our community. And not just our community, but the meta community. If Valor starts taking off steam, we get an influx of members from the side. We will be the first community on Valor. I mean, you know how the OG Discord servers are. They're huge. They're massive. Everyone remembers them. And that could be us in a year if everything goes smoothly.
Yep. All right, your seventh question. What can you do to maintain consistent RP, commonly known as roleplay?
All right, so the most important part to roleplay is having good roleplayers in government. The first thing I would do is I'd make sure that any of my picks, cabinet, ministries, technically that falls more into the prime minister, but I'd have a little bit of pull over the ministries. They have to be into their roleplay. No longer can we just put people into positions who blatantly say that they don't care about the roleplay. Having your position should not be about power. It should be about expanding roleplay opportunities. On top of that, the systems that I was talking about earlier, the character systems, those things should be integrated with the government. And those aren't just an onboarding feature, but it's really a roleplay feature because it gets everyone who joins the server to create a character. Right now, I'd say 90% of people on the server don't have any history behind or even a character they play. They just check on Spook Whooper. Getting them into the shoes of their own character turns it into a game. Gamifying it a little bit separates personal feelings from it, which is good to reduce drama in the community, and it makes it so that anyone can step in. That's what's important.
All right. Your eighth question is, how will you assist increasing district activities?
I have always been a huge supporter of district autonomy, so that's number one. Even in the Constitution, I battled for the right for districts to choose how to do their government. I actually struck down several parts of amendments that would have forced districts to do things such as democratic systems, not because I don't support democracy, but because I support districts being able to have interesting, diverse, and deep roleplay opportunities. Things like war systems, the jobs. When we had that material chart going, it was some of the most deep RP we had to date. And those were led by me and Jacob, but we can go further with that, with SV2, and that is my plan. I want districts to have to trade, to have to make agreements. Who knows how far we can go with it? It really is about, as time goes on, the depth to the system should increase. We should get more people involved with it, and it should be an exciting time to see really how far we can push it.
All right, so your ninth question is, why you out of all the other candidates?
So this is kind of breaking the fourth wall here, but out of every single other candidate out there for the presidential position, I'm the only one that has a 24/7 time period dedicated to Spook Whooper. It's my job. I wake up, I work on things related to Spook Whooper. I go to sleep. Other candidates, whether it's their fault or not, have time commitments to other things. They have jobs, they have schoolwork. This is a massive undertaking right now that we're moving forwards for SV2, for Valor, and I don't think anyone else has the time and the finesse required to ensure that it's a successful transition, except for myself. I think the amount of time I can pour into the project, the amount of focus I can give it, outshines any other candidate. For example, I think that Honk would be a brilliant candidate because he's very technologically capable. However, Honk can't even get me a banking system online because he's busy. He has school. He has a job. He's looking at the military, you know? These are real things people have. And when it comes to a position that's running basically from the top down, looking over all of Spook Vooper, you need a lot of time and dedication. On that note, I'd like to give a shout out to Alligate because I think someone like Alligate, Drop LT, they are active, and you know what? They're in the Discord almost as often as me. So if you're not going to vote for me, I say vote for someone who has the time to get things done. But I think that's the most compelling thing about me. I mean, all the things I just said, another candidate can technically just copy my roadmap at this point. Look out for that. They may start picking pieces of my roadmap and putting it into their own, but I think I'm the only person who can actually implement it, not just promise it.
Wow, great response on that, by the way. Your 10th question is, what is the message you want all the other candidates to hear from you?
I think the message that I think is most important is no matter who wins this presidential election, things are going to keep moving. It may not happen as quickly. It may take a little bit more bureaucratic work, but I don't think these presidential elections are the end-all be-all of Spook Vooper, and I don't want to pretend that they are. Everything I said previously is I think that we can accelerate. I think that I can get things done quicker, but I think that everyone running for president right now is a capable individual, and I think that their campaigns aren't dishonest. I think that it's just a lot for them to chew. A big bite for them to chew with just so much on the table right now. But I think the thing that's important is that it's a presidential campaign. It's nothing personal. We're just trying to do what's best for the community.
All right, we actually come to our last question, and it is, what do you want Vooperians to know about you?
I want Vooperians to know that until the bitter end, I'm going to fight to get Spook Vooper as far as I can. I don't know where the end point is for Spook Vooper. It's been, almost a decade now? Things have moved so quickly. Things change so fast, moving from Skype to Discord, the Minecraft server to the YouTube. Everything has moved from, we couldn't even imagine where we are now a few years ago. But I want to look forward and say that we are capable of doing just as much in the next 3 years as we've done in the past 3 years. I think we can make just as much of a leap. We have everything set in motion. We just have to be dedicated, and I think that I am the most dedicated man to this community at the moment, because my life and my livelihood depend on it.
Alright, you can finally say the big surprise everybody's waiting for right now, because I feel like everybody's excited for it.
So the little surprise, I was going to say, just so easy. We're actually considering making a second application. It'll be called probably MySV, and it'll be a little phone app. It'll be like a wallet. It'll have your personal information. You'll be able to modify your character. You'll be able to make notes, maybe send direct messages. I'm not really sure about that. It'll show your balance. You'll be able to send payments through it. So rather than having to log into spookvooper.com to do these things, you'll actually be able to casually trade, send money, manage your groups on the go, on an app. It should increase the amount of community interaction dramatically. But this is something me, Coca, and Jacob all agreed would be a fantastic idea. And, we have the skills to get it done. So, look out for it.
Alright, this finally concludes our interview with you, Emperor Albright. Thank you so much for coming on our interview, and we wish you good luck. And to the viewers tuning in, thank you for watching. If you would like to read other candidates' text interviews, you can find them in our description below. Goodbye.